Welcome to another edition of the Calgary Sessions. I'm your host, Jeff Humphreys. This is episode number 9. My guest this week is, this one will be really cool. Him and I go way back. I can't even guess the years, but he's got his hands in a bunch of different things, different organizations, charities. Anyways, it's a crazy story. So I'll let him introduce himself, name, and pick a company that you own and operate right now.
Hey man, how you doing? We're probably going back to early 80s.
Yep.
Yeah, like probably Tyke novice hockey is when we started playing against each other. My name is Alex Halat, born and raised in Calgary. Grew up in Rundle, northeast Calgary. Played all my minor hockey right up through junior up here and with the Calgary Royals, and then after that went out east a little bit of university and came back and made Calgary home again. And here we are today.
And the company, the first company you started?
Well, a little bit of history. Yeah, I started right after university working for Ensign Drilling.
Yep.
Went on the rigs and spent about 12 years there in marketing drilling rigs. And then in 2012, myself, Frank Pimisker and Dave Sapungis, Ryan Knievel and Paul Colburn started Star Valley Oilfield Services. Actually, the irony is, we'll probably touch base on it. It was actually day 4 of the world's longest hockey game in 2012 is when we signed off on the paperwork, which is kind of cool. So I haven't slept in 4 days, just played 80 hours of hockey, and we're going through legal documents, both Frank and I, to get this thing done. So
crazy, man. So Halat, like we'll get through a handful of his things that he's up to, but the funny story about me and Halat, like you said, we grew up playing hockey against each other, and right before we got on air, we were talking about hockey and the era we played in, the friendships we forged, whether we played against each other or with each other, it's very different than in today's world. And the proof of that is me and Halat grew up in different sides of the town. The funny story is we're trying out for the Junior A Royals. Yeah. And this is, I'm underage. It could have been your first year and this camp. Yeah. And we're at Southland. And Alex,
when Caleb Toth knocked me out?
No, man, this is no,
it might have been.
It might have been. So
I still got to talk about him. He's a prick for doing that. Threw a left at me, and I didn't know it was coming. It was all set up before the game started.
So we're in the middle of these tryouts, and back then, hockey was pretty aggressive. Yeah. And Halat was a tough dude. I didn't mind mixing it up, and so we're in these tryouts. And Halat's running around, he's being a crazy man. And so I get on, it's my shift. I'm like, well, I'm going to see what this guy's all about. So anyways, we drop the gloves. And Halat has I'm pretty sure you have a metal knuckle in your left hand. You're right.
Steel plate in my fist, yeah.
So anyways, I met that fist. And we're like 17, 18. I meat the fist, get 5 or 6 stitches in my eyebrow, and I gotta go get zipped up. So that was like that's my Alex Halat story, and that one goes way back. And it's just so funny that fast forward all these years, you and I can sit down, we can bullshit, and it's not even a thought in our lives. We were on the ice.
No, man, sports has changed so much when we were kids. Like I said, I was telling you, the relationships that we developed as kids to now is a bond. I look at kids now, and it's more about a cyber relationship essentially with each other. No one's really taking the time, these kids right now, to actually get to know each other like we did. We grew up in 4 different quadrants. Yeah, we were bred to hate each other. I mean, we were bred to hate. I was bred to hate the Royals, the Flames, and the Buffaloes. But at the end of the day, I still had respect for all the players. Yep. As much as I wanted to go on the ice and hammer on you. I remember Kevin Kabelka was coaching the Buffaloes, and he'd send out Dale Purington after me. And who's Dale? Luckily, Dale's
Who is Dale?
It is. You fast forward 40 years later, I'm still talking to the same guys. Yeah. I remember we were in Victoria last year with my son's hockey team, and Dale was out there. I brought in kids weren't playing very good, and Blue Benefield was out there as well. And so once you guys come talk to my teammates, and they walked into the room, and it looked like Jesus walked in. Monsters, like 6'6", and but it's cool that we're trying to preach to our kids the work ethic and the bond that we had with one another growing up. So no, it's cool to see where we've come as all of us.
Totally.
There's probably we're probably 200, 300, 400 strong.
Totally.
In our generation, 40-year-olds right now that still talk to one another. So it's kind of cool with social media to see where everyone's at right now. But
I agree.
But having a sit down, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And like I said, if there's 300 or 400 guys in the city, eventually I'm going to get through a bunch of them just because, they're going to see you on here. They're going to remember all these things. And all of a sudden, they're going to be on the show too. So that's why I love Calgary. It's so small, and the hockey world is even smaller, which is a unique group.
It's kind of cool right now to actually go coaching. And, even if I head up to, say, Edmonton or one of the other towns, and just to see an old teammate or someone that I would have played against, 30, 40 years ago, and just, you crack a joke, we're a different vintage, say, holy shit, Humphreys, nice titties, so we can still crack jokes. They say the same to me, like, holy shit, what happened to you? I'm like, well, okay, we'll call it a thyroid issue, I guess. So, you feel insecure and walk away. But it's great to see the guys, because you still have that dressing room camaraderie. It's like you're in the room still. You see a lot of these guys again.
Totally. So, the gist of the show, artists, entrepreneurs, athletes, you had a lengthy hockey career, and the entrepreneurial side of what you're up to is, intriguing to me. What I like to do is to take the guests back as far as they want to go, how you grew up, just, the things that started to happen in your life that kind of led you to where you are today, why you decided to become an entrepreneur and, the athletic side. So just wheel us back into the Northeast back in the heyday, and just kind of growing up and what you're interested in and anything.
Just growing up in the Northeast, it was all about loyalty and friendship. So, you go back to, I got a lot of childhood friends, but probably Marco Oliverio and Lou Oliverio, my brother and myself, probably stem back to still being together. Josh St. Louis, Brent Bilecki, Mike Baroda. That's still our original clique, and you're going back 30, 40 years. And growing up in the Northeast, you got challenges, obviously demographic challenges, depending on what culture you're from, what ethnic background you're from. A lot of players or a lot of folks tend to, follow that route. And unfortunately, you got some bad apples and you got some good apples. I attribute hockey to keeping a guy straight, keeping a guy in line and focused on a goal. And, growing up with Marco and all the boys kept me focused, and went on to play. Actually, I'll tell you a story. Did you hear how I met Marco Oliverio?
No.
So one time we were kids, and me and my brother are sitting in the front yard, and in the Northeast you got blocks. So you kind of stick to your own block. And I remember sitting there and with my brother in the front yard, and all of a sudden you hear a bunch of bikes come around the corner. They had hockey cards.
Oh, yeah. So
badasses.
it sound like mufflers or whatever?
A bunch of losers coming in, Marco and Luch. And I heard a bunch of mufflers coming in, and look over, and it was Marco and his brother and a bunch of other Italians coming in. And so we stand up, and then, I'm a big kid, and so is Marco. And then you get Lou Oliverio, that's 2 years younger than us. Well, he looks like he's 40 years old at the age of 12.
Full beard already.
Remember he was shaving that? I think he's gonna kill me when he sees this. And Luch gets up and ends up he beat up my brother. So that's it. That's how we first met him. Fast forward a couple weeks later, we're public skating at Village Square. I look on the ice. There's that Marco guy. I'm gonna get him. Chase him around the ice. Who comes on? The 40-year-old man-child comes on the ice and chases me around the ice. So I think he kicked my ass, actually, and the ice marshal had to stop him, but I can't remember. And about 2 weeks after that, we try out, and Marco and I end up on the same team. And that was in Pee Wee. So, and that's when the friendship kind of clicked, and then grew up from here. So, but went on to play Calgary North Stars with all the boys. Pretty good run. And remember the era back then? Like, there was some pretty strong teams. I remember. Were you in Quebec with us?
Yep.
I remember, didn't you guys actually get suspended?
Well, not some of the guys.
Some of the guys. I remember walking in the rink, and you got Kinger and a bunch of the boys were
behind the bench,
sitting behind the bench watching. So for breaking curfew, and I know this is a PG story, so I'm not really going to talk about the. Do you remember the lodge? We were all staying. Did you guys stay at the lodge?
We stayed. It's so funny. You remember Mike McLeod?
Yeah.
So I interviewed him a little while ago with Tail Gunner, and we were talking about this exact Quebec trip.
Yeah.
And the Buffs and the Royals stayed in the basement of this like old Russian army barrack.
Oh, is that what they said?
We had to bust in and out. So I don't know where you guys stayed.
We stayed at the ski lodge.
Oh yeah, we did not stay.
Yeah, they put us at a ski lodge, and there was a lot of firsts for a lot of players that weekend in Quebec. So we're gonna keep that out of here. But it was that was a fun trip. And I remember that was my taste of playing on the road. And I was 16 years old, but it was an eye opener for all of us. And it's actually kind of cool because I look back at. I'm 44 years old right now, and I coach a kid named Luca Dufour, his dad Reg played in the same tournament at the same
way.
time. So it's kind of cool. We talk about, I think he played for Drummondville
Crazy.
at the time because he went on to play for the Voyageurs. And we sit back and we're comparing. We actually played against each other. Now he's from a different part of the country. I don't remember him playing, but now we're sitting here coaching years later together. So, which is kind of ironic. And then I ended up playing my junior career here for the Calgary Royals.
Yep.
And, and that was even more unique because once you hit junior, it was everybody from every quadrant. Boom, we're on the same team. I'm talking Brad Olson, Greg Olson. To this day, Brad Olson's one of my best buds. I couldn't tell you how many times I've gotten into a fist fight because the guy's a hothead. We've fought a lot against each other. A couple times we got in a scrap in the dressing room. And poor Dave Evans.
No way.
Pitsy was stuck. Yeah, it was after the game. I think we just lost. And I was so mad, and I'm taking my skates off, and Bruno Bassiotto was like, everyone stop. And I'm not going to listen to Bruno. Brad looked at me. He's like, Halat, stop.
He was captain, right? Was he captain at that point yet? Do you know?
Who's that?
Olsen?
No, I was captain that year.
Oh, okay.
I think I was captain that year. And anyways, because we're both hotheads, we started chirping each other. The prick threw a punch at me, and then it was on. But I felt bad because Dave Evans, Pitsy,
quiet, unassuming.
Yeah. So Pitsy doesn't say a word. He's stuck in the middle as we're throwing bombs at each other, and fists are just flying. So, but yeah, I went on, and we actually still have a chat. So Christian Timponi, who came from Italy. You got Rio King, who went on, to be a professional outrider, and Chuck Wagons. We're still on a chat. We still talk. Millsy Hagelin, I think that was on your show as well. So it's kind of cool to see a bunch of guys from different areas of the city that developed such a pretty cool bond.
Yeah. And
then from there, ended up out east at a couple schools to choose from, and went on to play for St. Mary's University in Halifax, 97 to 02. And, the same thing. You're talking guys from all around the world. And I can tell you right now, out of all the teams I played on right across the country, Halifax was the most unique. To go to Halifax, and to this day, I'm not shitting you. I graduated in 02, and we still talk on a daily basis.
Cool.
It's unreal.
Did you guys win something?
Yeah, that last year, we won the AUS championship, which is kind of ironic because I scored a goal. And it was a double or triple overtime, and pretty cool story. So our goalie my first couple of years is Mike Weatherby. Mike Weatherby went on to the CIS Academic All-Canadian. The guy was just renowned, amazing goalie. And I remember that summer he got into med school, and him and my centerman actually both got into med school, and which is great. They're going to Dalhousie now, and they were going to play for Dal. So I remember sitting there talking to Mike, and he said, "Al, the day you score on me is the day I quit hockey." So, okay, whatever. I'm never going to score on Mike. Mike's good. Fast forward to playoffs.
We all remember these conversations when we're getting chirped.
So, and fast forward to playoffs, a year later, we're playing a triple overtime, game 5, and I scored on the fucker. And it was his last game. And I felt bad. It was Mike. But a couple months later, I said, "Hey, Mike," I sent him a picture. I think I just sent a notice. Shit, it might have been about 3 weeks ago, just reminding him again. It was an article that someone sent me from that game. So, Hey, Mike, you still playing again? So, but, we're still good buddies. We go on, and you laugh about this stuff. 20, 25 years later. We actually got inducted into the Hall of Fame last October. Cool, man. And you get these cool ideas. Wicked, I'm going back to Halifax. We're going to party. It's going to be great. And then reality kicks in. You get there, and fuck it, it's almost 10 o'clock. I got to get home for the news at 11, guys. Look at you. And there wasn't many guys that argued it. They're like, yeah, we should get going back to the hotel. So that's when the age kicks in. I can't stay up till 4 in the morning anymore. Man. I really want to watch the news and go to bed. And I'll see you guys at 5 a.m. for a coffee. So,
the new realities.
Oh man, it's awesome. I love it. The journey through hockey to where it got us now, and the contacts that we made, and and the things that we've got to do to help others over the course of the years by simply leveraging our contacts and friends that we've made playing such a unique sport. Whether it's hockey, football, basketball, it doesn't matter, but it's just to make the effort to maintain those contacts and build those bonds. I'm not saying you got to call someone every day, but you know what? Show honesty and truth in someone's relationship. Like, fuck, I haven't talked to you in how long?
Dude.
But you know what? I'll always be loyal to guys I grew up with. I'll always be honest to guys I grew up with and give time to guys I grew up with. Just to help each other out.
Totally.
And to work with each other and to make if it means doing a charity one day or something. to help a kid, grab a meal or buy him some underwear or buy him some socks and shoes and books and pencils. So
basics,
that's the basics in life. We were pretty fortunate for the things that we have and what our parents have sacrificed to get us. Remember, our parents grew up in the 80s. You're talking 18% interest rates.
Dude, 81.
And, like my old man, my dad was a carpenter.
Me too. No way.
Yeah.
My dad framed houses for 35 years.
Yeah. So we were actually talking about this the other day. Just the economy in general. And we were talking about 18% interest rates and all that. And I remember my dad said he was fortunate at that time. I said, why? Because that's when they were building the Peter Lloyd Hospital. And he luckily got the project manager gig that time. So we actually got through that time. It's things like that I didn't know literally until about 4 days ago. And he told me. That's so crazy, hey? And I always thought at that time, because you hear the stories like, shit, did we almost lose our house in the 80s? I would have been 7 years old. I really wouldn't have known. And he said, no, we were lucky at that time because, he had a job, but what were they making? $2-3 an hour back then? So
it's so crazy. Well, obviously we had no idea. So, my dad was a fireman and built houses for 35 years. So he built our place that they're still in Strathcona in 81 with an interest rate of like 19%.
That's unreal.
And, so that he's working 5 jobs, mom's taking care of 3 kids, like chaos. And now, fast forward today, there's a bunch of different scenarios, different issues, but I couldn't imagine going through that back then.
Yeah, but you don't see that. Like my parents have been in their house. My dad built it in 75. And he still has the same neighbors. Do your parents still have the same neighbors?
No, because we lived in a cul-de-sac and they've all flipped.
Yeah, no, for us it's
he's in the same house?
Same house.
And he built it?
Same, what's that?
And he built it?
He built it, but we have the same neighbors. Like my dad has the same neighbors going on 45 years. And it's kind of cool because I can still go back and it reminds me of my childhood. And a lot of the things that I grew up seeing, my son and my kids, my daughters get to see it. Yeah. My son was actually born in that house because at that time I was building a house in Chestermere and we were living at my parents while we were building. So my son was, he lives we're just outside of Calgary. But if you ask him, I'm from the Northeast. He's so proud to say he's from the Northeast. Crazy, and so that was his first home. But it's cool to go back. And some people have moved on just due to age. They passed on. My dad's one neighbor, June, so, we still check on her. Like I love it because I've known her my whole life. Do I ever want to see anything happen to these neighbors? No, of course not. But they become a part of your life. So it's kind of cool that your parents are still in the same house. Dude. I love going back and I don't know what I'd ever have to do. I don't think I could ever sell that house. Just too many memories, too many childhood memories, too many sleepovers in the basement and
all of it,
Adam Redmond grew up right across the alley from us. And I remember, telling my kid, we used to play street hockey out here. Like you don't see that shit anymore. It's here. I play on PS4. Well, what are you learning on PS4, man? Call your buddies. Just come play street hockey. And, my kid's no different than others. I think we played maybe 3 times street hockey at our house. It drives me nuts. It drives me bananas.
Because we're growing up. That's all we did.
That's all we had. What were we going to do?
Like
what did we have back then? Dial-up. We had dial-up internet, so we couldn't get on. Atari, ColecoVision. We didn't have any of the technology they had now. And
it was cheap to be outside.
Oh my God! Like I remember sitting.
That was the big thing for us.
I know. I remember sitting in the garage with my brother trying to build a hockey stick out of baseboards. Like it was flat, wide, and you're trying to make sure the blade's long enough, and you can't swing a hammer. I'm using finishing nails to put it together. So, but no, it's cool. I love going back to the Northeast and and sitting here with guys like you, and always thinking unique ways to. What can we do to help people? Which led us to doing the world's longest hockey game in 2012 and 14. We did that game. We played for 248 hours, roughly, right around there. But a lot of that was a brainstorm of, man, I could tell you, I would say 70% of the players are guys you grew up with, from all around Calgary, which is kind of cool. Guys like Terry Ferguson. I played in memory of Brad Tilford's dad. The first one I played in memory of for my brother after his battle of cancer, and actually I was kind of step back as to how that game started.
This game, like it's a big thing, and I can't remember how many times you've launched it and played it, but it's a big moment in what you've done because it helps so many people. It's the amount of energy it takes to pull it off is boggling to me, just because I've played the game to play it for X hours and hours and hours. I don't know how you actually do it physically.
You'll hate the game after this. You absolutely hate it.
So get into this. This one's a cool story because it's it's super unique, man.
Yeah. So we did. Good buddy of mine we played hockey with, Lyle Marshall. His daughter was Diamond Marshall. She was the one girl that had cancer, and I don't know if people remember back in 2011. She's the one that met the princess when she came off the plane. She was a little girl. Unfortunately, Diamond's no longer here anymore. But I remember her going through her chemo and all that. At the same time, my brother had B-cell lymphoma, and it was stage 3 aggressive cancer. And my brother was a tough kid. Like, he was a tough kid. And seeing what he was going through, I'm thinking, how can Lyle's little girl go through the same thing, and she's probably all but 50 pounds. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I talked to Leslie Plumley. I don't know if you remember Leslie. Leslie's a gal that grew up in Calgary. She's worked with the Canucks for a number of years, and said, we got to do something to raise money to help kids with cancer. I don't know anything about childhood cancer. So what can we do? I said, I don't know. They just finished a game up in Edmonton. I should see if, what game is it? It's the world's longest hockey game. But they played it outdoors. Well, we can't play it outdoors in Calgary because of the weather. Like this weekend, from 20 degrees to minus 20 over day. I'd be in the bottom of a lake. and at that point, I contacted Lyle. I said, hey, this is what I want to do. I think we should play the world's longest game. And that's kind of how the game got going. Now, a lot of guys throw fundraisers, or a lot of players throw fundraisers.
Like golf tournaments or whatever.
Yeah, they throw up. But this one had a meaning. And it had a meaning because to play in the game, all 40 guys had to have a story. Meaning, I just didn't want Joe Blow. I had 1,000 guys that wanted to play. But they only wanted to play because they wanted to set a record. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I appreciate the fact you want to do that. Maybe you can raise money. But I need guys with a reason. And all 40 players signed up. You know, we had one player that played, Doyle. His sister passed away during the game. He was playing in her honor. Liam Huchelek's sister also passed away. Haggis, his mother-in-law, passed away. This is all during the game. They're playing for family members. Our fundraiser for childhood cancer, but they were still battling adult cancer. Yep. And the game just morphed, and it just started getting momentum.
Where was it? Was it in Chestermere?
We held it out in Chestermere, yeah. So the reason we held it there is just, I live in Chestermere, but logistically it worked for us because under Guinness Book rules, you can't leave the facility. You can't step foot out of the facility. Once the game starts, 20 on 20, you can't switch teams, you can't add players. So as players leave, like, Liam and Haggis had to leave, obviously, to deal with family stuff. We were down to 18 players, guys that are, I broke my foot and broke my ribs. I can't leave because if I leave, I'm going to screw my teammates over. We still had 248 hours of that time to play. So,
over how long? So
I was over 10 days.
So what was the record? It was how many hours over 10 days?
Man, you're going back to 2011. Our first one was 248 hours. I think our next one was 252 hours.
Over 10 days.
Straight.
It's 24 hours. It's just
24 hours a day. So you just keep playing. And it's a challenge on the body. Like, it's you learn a lot about your body. You think you're in shape and you're strong. It doesn't mean shit.
And you grew up playing hockey. You're just like, yeah, I can skate it. I've had some tough practices, but I can't imagine, man.
You feel things in your back. One guy I'll give Scott Logan. Remember Scotty Logan?
Logie, yeah.
And Josh Hessler.
Oh, yeah.
They both played, and Mark Hardy. Those guys were a savior. To play goalie for 16 hours or 18 hours in a day nearly killed I only did a couple shifts, and my back was going to explode.
Just that position, head gear, like up, down, up, down.
And I'm going to admit now, we did a little bit of cheating during the game. So it wasn't really cheating. So my team was on the east end of the arena. That's where the camera was facing down. I'm going to tell the guys this now because they didn't know this on the other team. Good. So when their goalie on the other end was sitting there dying, we actually had a stool in the net.
No way.
Because the camera couldn't see it.
No way.
So guys like Essler and guys, we would be actually sitting. So when this gets out, guys are going to be pissed and say, so when we do the next game, we're going to actually announce another game. And because I run the event, I'm going to be staying at the same end again. So that saved our asses, man. It saved our asses. But to play such a cool game, I remember sitting there and just you eat and eat and eat. And I remember sitting there in net and you're eating a pizza as the guy's coming down to score. The amount you got to put in your body just to get through it. I ate almost 20,000 calories.
That's what it was, hey?
20,000.
I was going to guess 10, but
No, it was And I still lost like 2 pounds a day.
No way.
The problem was when the game was over, you still continue to eat like an animal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just ballooned. Like, it's just, it's just a matter of maintaining that discipline after to not eating. But, we're looking forward to, we're going to do another one. We're going to do a press release here in a couple weeks. And
how many games have you launched?
We've done 2. So after I did my second one in 2014, we teamed up with a group out of Buffalo and helped them do it there. So they've done it a couple times.
Yep.
Brent Sake's crew. So Brent is the Oilers team doctor. He basically started the whole thing. Basically, he started it probably, I think it would have been in 2004 or something like that.
Yep.
And just did it year after year. Those guys are a different breed in Edmonton. Like, those guys, hats off to them. They're playing at -37 outdoors. Could I do it? Yeah, 100% I could. Do I want to? Prefer not to.
Yeah.
Don't really want to skate at -37.
Yeah.
This year they were nuts. I think it got down to -50 a couple times there, and they still kept playing. So
what's the new record?
So it's
260.
About 260. Yeah. So, right now we're just going through the logistics. So right now you want the game, and a lot of key things. You actually want the game to end at a certain time, and that time is actually during the 6 o'clock news.
Right.
So we had to schedule the whole game to end at that time. Now here's the downfall. Either it could have started at noon on a Thursday, but which is a little too early. So we're starting at 8 o'clock on a Thursday night. That's going to give us the ability. Now for us to do that, it's actually going to beat their record by something like 4 hours. Which 4 hours doesn't seem like much because, it's not about breaking the record. We don't care about the record. It's about raising money. And I'd like to ideally break it by about 2 minutes so the next group can do it. But the only reason is logistically to end at that time at 6 p.m. when, the news starts. The last time we did it, the news, we ended at 6:01. That's the end time. So it looked like Super Bowl outside. It was amazing, man. You look outside, there's cameras everywhere. And the Children's Hospital, which runs their server through Ontario, they actually thought they were getting cyber hacked at the time.
No way.
They were getting hits from all around the world. We're talking like from Africa, from Germany, from Switzerland, Sweden, Scotland, Ireland, Lebanon, Morocco, Russia, China. It didn't matter. Cool. They thought they were getting cyber hacked, but the numbers were going up. So we found that's the one unique thing is let's end at that time. And a lot of things come into play. Yeah, you want to play in March. A lot of times, you try to target it, and this is where my business hat comes on. You try to target it right after everyone posts Q4 results. So, I get guys right now, I want to throw a fundraiser. Okay, when? August. Well, what's our target? Who's going to target it? Well, I don't know. We'll just do a Facebook post. Well, no, man. You need to have a reasoning as to the timing, and, a big part, we do the Oil Olympics every year. Yep. Oil Olympics has been around for 25 years. We've raised millions of dollars. Yeah, it is during breakup, but it's strategically also a good time because companies are posting Q4 results. Now, the companies in an oil patch that play in it already get it, so they're already going to donate. Whereas the hockey marathon or the world's longest game, we're going outside of our realm, outside of oil and gas. So it's nice when you can target, trucking companies, aerospace companies, just, beverage companies, anything. As soon as they post the results, it's pretty tough for a guy when oh shit, you just made $700 million. Congratulations. Good job. Thanks. By the way, we're raising money for cancer. So
it's a hard, it's a hard no.
No, yeah. It's most people are good. Like, what, no matter what, even if they lost $700 million, they're still going to donate. So totally. Calgary's a pretty giving community. I've seen it change over the years. It's not like when we were kids. Remember how tight Calgary used to be, and everyone talks about how awesome Calgary. Yeah, it's still a great city, but I don't see that bond or that unity that we grew up with. Yeah, it's a big city now, and it's
massive.
It's huge now. So it'd be nice to see it come back one day to all that love that we used to see, walking down the street and
totally,
everyone being friendly to one another. So we'll see.
How what's really interesting is when you're talking about deciding when to launch these things, I never would have thought about being strategic of the time of year to do it. When you're running your businesses, do you think, and I don't know what your school background is, but being an entrepreneur, and I don't know if you like that word or not, but where's your strength? Is it on the marketing side? Is it like for you to make that decision, I'm going to run this event based on Q4 revenue potentially. It's an interesting way to look at it. A lot of business owners wouldn't do that. They would just look at it. They'd look at the break in their own schedule and figure it out. Where does your how does your head work on the business side? Where's your strengths, you think?
My strength is not business. It's my strength is having the ability to work with people. In Star Valley, I have unique partners that are great at business. My one partner, Ryan, it's what he loves to do. He's a business guy. I got, our major shareholder, Paul Colburn. He's a jack of both. He does both. He's amazing at business, but he's amazing at relationships. I find myself, I'm really good at relationships and having the ability to work with others to achieve a goal. You delegate. Like I delegate a lot, but I can't handle everything on my own. I'm great at thinking of an idea, but I'm terrible at the finished product. My grammar is probably bad. Or
join the club.
It's terrible. Man, it's terrible. So I wish I could do voice to text on everything. But I'm great at working with others, and these are the attributes you pick up from playing sports. And to work with other kids and people of different demographics. Essentially, in sports, you got to become a chameleon. To become successful in sports, I need to become a chameleon. As much as I hate you played for a different quadrant.
Yep. But
you know what? I have to make myself like you. I'm going to change my color to your color. We're now a team.
Yep.
So, and that's what's taught me in life. Like I just need to be a good teammate. In any of my organizations that I work with, whether on the charitable or on the business side, is to get the most out of others, and not in terms of revenues, but in terms of ability to complete a task.
Yep.
So, and I work alongside them. One person I work closely with, Leslie. Leslie is my backbone on all my charities and all my events. Leslie and I have different attributes. I'm great at thinking of an idea, driving her nuts.
Mm-hmm.
She's great at the analytical things, like dealing with permits and AHS and all that shit. Whereas I'm good at dealing with people.
Gotcha.
So, especially trying to find fundraisers. She's terrible at it, but she's great at putting the brochure together for me to take out and say, hey,
gotcha.
Humper, do you want to donate here? So,
so
no, that's the one thing, with any success that I've had in business or in sports, whether on the coaching level, playing level, on the management level, is just trying to get the most out of my people or my coworkers, my teammates, my players. So,
and how did you decide, or when did you decide? Was it did something switch in your head saying, I want to start my own thing versus go work for somebody? Like, was there, growing up, even going through school or, playing hockey, did you always know you wanted to do your own thing? Or is this just something that you kind of fell into, or where do you think it is?
So I grew up hardworking. I remember as a kid, my dad would get me up in the morning. We're going to build fences and decks and garages and all that stuff. That's where my work ethic came. My first taste of business. Do you remember Tyler Murray?
Yeah.
Tyler Muzzy, Trevor Murray's younger brother.
Yeah.
And I remember we got out of university, and it was such a cool thing. So remember Bermuda Short Stay?
Mm-hmm.
So I was sitting there with Tyler, and Tyler's your age, I think, or a year younger. I said, I'd like to start something. Let's gotta make some money. Like, we don't have any money. We're broke. Like, so we actually came out and we went, I think it was 2003. We literally went and booked every single bar in Calgary. Now, Bermuda Short Stay, for those that don't know, is the biggest party in the University of Calgary back in the day. I don't even know if it's around anymore. And so we went and booked every single bar in Calgary. I mean, Cowboys and Outlaws and everything. So what we did then, they gave us all the tickets. We then went to the associations. So whether it's the chess club, the basketball, football, hey, we're throwing Bermuda Short Stay. Our cost was, I think it was free at the time. Just get people in the bar. So he said, hey, you know what? Hey, Humper, your team, it's $10 a ticket. You guys sell them for $15. You keep $5. Done. That was our first taste of money. So we actually started throwing these massive Bermuda Short Stay parties. And I remember walking late at night in the university with Murray, and we're just putting up posters everywhere for all the different associations.
Mm-hmm.
Women's basketball, men's basketball, the rugby team, the baseball team, the hockey team.
Yep.
And it just started to come. So I think we did that for 3 or 4 years. Obviously illegally back then, because we didn't know anything about taxes or anything. It was all cash. So I probably just implicated myself. But that was 20 years ago, so they can't audit me on that. But that was my first taste of actually trying to make money. And then at that point, I graduated university and I worked downtown, and it was kind of unique. So good friend of mine, Paul Colburn, got me in at Ensign, and I went and worked on the rigs, and I was fortunate enough to work at Ensign for 12 years, and I worked under a gentleman named Rick Symington and Bob Geddes, Selby Porter, and as well, at the end of the day, we were all under Murray Edwards, and I learned a ton about business there. The unique thing about that organization was, Murray owns the Calgary Flames, so he's the owner of the Calgary Flames, he's a sports guy. But everyone under him, all the upper management was all ex-players, from Rick Symington to Bob Geddes to all my bosses were all ex-players.
Yep.
Everyone at my level was all ex-players, not just hockey, but we're talking all sports. And that's when I really started to learn business. That's when, at that point, I learned Rick Symington, our boss, ran it like a dressing room, made everyone accountable. We'd sit every morning in our sales meetings. We'd joke around. So it was just like anyone. We'd just joke around and have fun. And then, and at that point, he would say, Alex, did you do this? Shit. Well, you know what? I dropped the ball for my team. My teammates let me know. Like, come on, Alex. At that time, you're compensated with what? Money.
Yep.
You get bonuses. If I don't do my job, and here's the best part, all of our bonuses are the same. So it didn't matter, and this is how Murray had it designed. It didn't matter if I did $1 billion in sales and you did $1. Our weekly bonus was the same.
Wild.
So, whether we achieved utilization or not, that's what taught me in business to work as a team. Because if I was dropping the ball, do you know how bad I feel as Humphrey, you just did all the work.
Teammate.
I'm getting the same bonus as you.
Kind
of like a teammate when you're sitting there on the second or third line or fourth line and, your team's winning, but I'm really not trying very hard, but the team's winning success. What happens at the end? The team's going to, it's time to make changes at the end of the year. And that's how they ran it. They ran it just as if it was any sports team, any sports franchise. So it was kind of unique. So that was my first taste of business in a sense of how to get the most out of your coworkers or, I hate saying employees because they're never employees. We built Star Valley. When we started Star Valley, it was purely built on family and trust. So
you're picking things up. You worked for someone for 12 years, kind of cut your teeth. And did somebody sit you down and tell you the things you're learning, or were you start connecting your own dots and learning things that way?
Essentially, I connected my own dots in a sense. We all have key attributes and key strengths in life. Do I wish I was more analytic when it came to numbers and stuff? Yeah, I can look at a spreadsheet and tell you exactly what the numbers say, what your EBITDA numbers are, what your net losses are, what your profits are. But is it something I enjoy? I don't like that stuff. I really don't. All I care about at the end of the year is, did we make or lose money? Did we break even? But obviously to make the most of your company, I want to get the most out of my coworkers. Now, Star Valley, in a sense, we're not a big company. We're not huge, and we're not a multinational company. We run very tight. We still run tight, like most service companies downtown right now. We run as a tight net unit, as a tight family. So, and it's just a matter of getting the most out of my coworkers or my teammates. So, and we do make ourselves accountable. Like, one of our VPs, Graham, good buddy of mine. He's down there with my partner in Texas right now. Graham is the best at calling anybody out.
Awesome.
He's amazing. And he's not shy to say, Alex, pick it up. It's like, look at him like, okay, well, I kind of started the company, but he's right. Like, the guy goes 110 miles an hour, and who am I to sit back and go 70 miles an hour? But he does it to anybody, and I love that because, and what is he? He's an ex-basketball player. He's an ex-player. He's an ex-athlete. He gets what it takes to push yourself to the next level.
Do you think it's trust? Do you think it's like you grow up in the dressing room, you understand that it's a group working towards something, a common goal, and it's okay to be called out because that person has the best interest of the entire team. That's their direction they're coming from. They're not just picking on one person. They're looking at the big picture, which I think is I don't know. It's such a team thing.
See, but you just dated us by saying that. That's our era. You can't do that anymore. Right now, and I'm not going to fault anyone, but certain sports associations out there, whether it's in hockey, basketball, rugby, lacrosse, doesn't matter. If I sit there and say, Humphreys, you're not doing very good right now. You need to pick it up. Well, society nowadays, the first reaction is, you're picking on my kid.
Right.
Like, I'm not picking on your kid. I'm trying to get the most out of your kid. No, you're single-handedly picking on my kid. It's defending these kids right away. And I see it as a coach. It drives me nuts as a coach. You know, so right now I coach with Redmond and with Adam Redmond, your age, he played with you.
Yeah.
And we have a 1970s, 1980s style of coaching. And we don't necessarily have the best players in the league, but I'll tell you this, we have the biggest hearts in the league. And both years, the first year we went on to win our championship.
No way.
People looked at the team and said, hold up. We just need hardworking kids.
Yeah.
And the second year, which is last year, we had a good chance of winning it, but COVID shut us down. And now this year, obviously with COVID, it's been shitty. But we sit there and we bag skate these kids. Bag skate in hockey is something you don't even hear of anymore. We literally, if they don't perform or give us 110%, we will get it out of them with a skate. But these players also realize, I don't care if you score 1,000 goals. I don't care if you get 1,000 assists. I don't care if all I care about, you give me 110%. And we sit there and relay to these kids that everything we do, you might think we're assholes and you come off and you swear about us and stuff, but that's wicked. That means I'm kind of getting to you.
Yeah.
Everything we're doing now is, and I told these kids, so it'll be a couple weeks ago, probably not going to make the NHL. I could tell you who's going to make the NHL. There's probably no one here who's going to make the NHL. Now, could some of you play college? Shit, yeah, because I was that fourth liner that ended up playing college based on one thing, heart. Can some of you play junior? Yeah, I'd say about half of you can play junior. But the most important thing is everything we're teaching you is to become harder working people in society, whether it's being a parent, being, in a relationship with a guy or a girl,
a good
teammate, a coworker, any of that stuff. To put your best foot forward and give 110% at anything you achieve in life. Now, do I agree with certain philosophies in sports now where it's equal play and all this? That drives me nuts. Because at the end of the day, who's going to get hurt? It's this kid in the future. Because when you're going to apply for a job, I really don't give a shit about your participation bag. All I care about is your work ethic. Do you have the ability to essentially work with everyone in this office to achieve our goal at the end of the year or at the end of the month or whatever, end of the quarter? That's all I care about. Your work ethic. Are you able to take constructive criticism without having to break down in tears? And I see a lot of these kids now, and it's hard because I work with a lot of kids, and I have a pretty good rapport with kids in terms of building that bond and that relationship. And I see kids that are down simply because that's how they've been coached a lot of times, or that's how our school system is now, is feelings and emotions. And I can work with that kid on building him up to a point where, not essentially a stone, but if I say something to him now, he takes it as constructive criticism.
It's not a personal attack.
It's not a personal attack anymore. I'm doing it because I want you to be a better person. I want you to be a better player. Obviously, I'm here to coach you so we can, try to have a successful season. That's just the first step in life. This is just a gauge or a mark in having a successful season. Well, that's irrelevant because you still have the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years of your life. The ultimate, goal is to have, a successful life in terms of not just money. Money is evil, man. I just learned in the last year, money changes a lot of people. A lot of people put things into perspective right now. Don't gauge life's successes based on money. Base it on family, on relationship goals, just with your friends, your neighbors, your community in general, what you can do to help others, and I think we're small steps, coaching with Adam. Yeah, he's a little bit harsh. He's a little too old school sometimes. And I sit there and roll my eyes. I'm like, oh my God, did you just say that? But then you see these kids are laughing. Like, they kind of get it. They kind of get what he's saying. And none of these kids' jaws have dropped and getting ready to run outside and tell mom and dad, this is what was said.
That's good.
So, it's kind of positive in a sense. We got these 16 or 17, 14-year-old boys right now, and they're going to be pretty good citizens in society. And with all the events that we do to raise money, we get them involved. They see it. I want them to see that. We're pretty fortunate, you guys. You're playing this sport. It costs quite a bit of money. Like, it's not cheap anymore. And that's my next downfall with sports is people have taken it to a point where they've made it a business. And it's left kids behind because their parents don't have the financial means
for sure
to excel. Like,
you imagine if you would if we grew up the same way, our dads did the same thing,
we wouldn't be playing.
If AAA cost our parents $18,000, it's
unreal, man.
I don't think I would have been playing.
There's no way we would have been playing. It's unreal. Like, it's and you know what? And again, I'm not dating myself, and I understand the industry, like any industry, changes over time. But, this happened just so quick. This literally happened. It started in about the last 8-9 years where the cost of sports started doing this. And it's unfortunate because the people that drove the cost, I'm using hockey as an example. I can't comment on basketball or football or anything because I don't play those sports. But a lot of it was non-hockey guys.
For sure. Business.
That did this. Yep. Businesses that did this.
Yep.
And drove the price of hockey up.
Yep.
To a point where parents say, I can't afford $150 an hour to put my kid through, Now, for our buddies and stuff, that do all this coaching, hats off to them.
Totally.
They got into an industry now that somebody, created. But our buddies that all played also got good hearts, because I can almost call on 99.99% of them and say, listen, I got a group of kids from, say, Southeast Calgary that don't have a lot of money. I'll donate the ice. Would you mind giving them a session?
Yeah.
100%. I'll be out there in 2 seconds. They don't forget their roots.
Totally.
But I'm hoping to see the next crop of players coming up, those guys in their 20s. I don't think they get it like our generation would right now, because they're focused on this right now.
Maybe later.
Maybe later. I think they will. They'll learn. You got to remember, we were hotheads.
Yep.
Like, I was a hothead.
Yep.
But we were motivated by money back then, though. There's none around back then, right?
It's just pride.
Back then? No, it's a matter of having $5 to go to Cowboys for 25-cent draft. So,
what's really, the whole, the energy that you have for kids and charities is obviously, you're quite passionate about it. And then it's spun into another business opportunity, which is, it'd be interesting how if it's just further going down this path of developing kids, or where this all came from.
About boxing.
Yeah, so explain.
Yeah,
tee it up for.
So my son has been part of a group called Olympus Boxing, and he was coached under Angelo B. He was a current pro boxer, young kid in town, and I bring him in, and it was this 1,000 square foot, warehouse with a nice ring, 5 bags, and blood everywhere. Like, it was Rocky style. It was awesome. My kid loved it. I loved it. Downfall, I couldn't bring my wife there, and just because of blood everywhere.
She wouldn't let you back in.
Yeah, it was just a dungeon. It was a real Fight Club, right? And no one ever knew what it was like in there because no one talks about Fight Club.
Yep.
And it was about a couple of years ago, I sat down with Angelo and said, listen, if you're interested, I'm involved on the hockey side. I boxed for almost 30 years just for conditioning and hockey. It has always been a part of my life, especially after my playing days. I just continued to box and do Muay Thai.
Yep.
And from there, COVID hit. The landlord wasn't being very receptive. And I'm going to take a step back. There is no money in boxing. Like, when someone owns a boxing club, there is zero money in boxing. Boxing is a culture. Boxing is an avenue for kids that don't have the means or the resources to get into other sports. It's very inexpensive. And I'll tell you this, Angelo and myself, we got a lot of kids that don't pay. Just because, and I'm saying just demographically, we have first locations in the Northeast.
Yep.
Some parents just don't have the means.
Yep.
And we don't charge very much. But what I have done with a lot of kids is, okay, you can't afford it. Some teenagers, they want to do it. Help us clean. You're still part of the club, but you know what?
Cool.
We have deep clean days. We have cleaning days. So we get the kids involved. They work it off in that sense. And it just started momentum.
So what happened? You started talking to him about, after COVID hit, he's trying to figure out what he has to do with his club. So where do you? Yeah,
at that point, his landlord wouldn't work with him.
Yep.
The pandemic just hit. Landlords quite didn't understand the severity of COVID and the impact on business in terms of revenues coming in, expenses going out. We all thought it was. I was under the impression, okay, shit happened in March. By July, we're going to be back to normal. Well, no, we're coming on a year and a half right now, and so we took everything out and put it in storage. And at that point, one of our members owned a plaza, literally just remember the old body shop.
Yep.
Right across the street. So I never been there. Never went to the body
Me
shop.
neither.
There you go. So, but
I heard about it.
Yeah. So the body shop in Mustangs, I think is what it's called. So it's funny when guys call, like our vintage, where is it? Know the body shop? Yes. Okay.
Gotcha.
Right across the street. So he owned the plaza across the street and said, hey, do you want to get space? And we started there.
Partnered? So you guys partnered up?
Yeah, we're partners 50-50.
Yep.
So Angelo's career is obviously pro boxing.
Yep.
Kind of give everyone a snapshot. in boxing where anyone makes any financial gains is through privates. And now I have my day job. I do my thing.
Yeah.
I love the culture of boxing. But to create a cool culture, I need a cool atmosphere. And Angelo had that. He had all the top fighters in the city at the time, amateur fighters, and we got them involved. So these guys have never, ever coached. They're all amazing fighters. So we started, this is again now going back to being a good teammate. And we talked to all the guys and said, hey, who wants to become a coach? Well, what do you do? Just create it, take care of the venue, keep it clean, and just build a culture. Yeah. And from there, a lot of these guys, a lot of our fighters, I think we went from Angelo being the only coach and his brother George, Habib. I think we got almost 13 or 14 coaches now. And we've created more avenues of revenue for these guys to survive in life. And now the club just sustains itself and keeps going. Cool. Now we've got Calgary, we've got Chestermere expanded from there. We partnered up with Built Strong out of Okotoks. We've also teamed up with Legacy Boxing off 106. And then the coolest one is I don't know if you remember Jody Lavelle, Brent Dodging Horse's brother.
Dodging, no way.
Yeah, so we talked to Sutina about opening a club on the reserve there, and unfortunately, just due to their space limitations and their 7 chiefs, we couldn't find a spot to open a club. And I think we'll probably look at something down the road when they do an addition. Yep. At that point, they're like, why don't you call Jody, which is Dodger's brother, out in Sitsica. Okay. So I called Jody up, and all-time hockey buddy. We're going back 30, 40 years.
Pretty easy conversation.
Easy conversation. I haven't talked to the guy in 30 years.
But it doesn't matter.
But it's as if we've been in the dressing room every day. And then from there, we created a program out on Sitsica Nation, which is kind of cool. So we actually went out there. We looked at the old rink, brought back memories. I haven't skated in that rink in 40 years. It's the same building. It's obviously different now, but it's the same building. And we opened up a club in there, and then COVID hit. So we've got all the gear. It's all set up, ready to go.
Ready to roll.
And again, it comes back to just giving kids options. It's just giving them avenues. Unfortunately, out in, say, the Northeast or in Sitsica, there isn't options for hockey for some families. Yep. It gets pretty pricey and pretty costly. So you know what? How about boxing? I've never had a kid come in and not like boxing. And it's great in a sense because boxing is great for conditioning, cardio, just building self-esteem. I get a lot of kids that come in that are just like one of my pet peeves is bullying. Like I've got viewpoints on bullying. I'm a guy that has zero tolerance for bullying. My viewpoint is if you're getting bullied on, punch them. This is me. And people might not like it. My vintage, if someone so much as said a word to me growing up, you're going to get it. Now, do I condone kids to fight? No, I don't, obviously. But at the same time, stick up for yourself.
Just self-respect.
You get self-respect. Yeah, I'm not saying go out there and start slugging guys. Yeah. Now, if I find out any of my boxers are out as assholes like or out there bullying, that'll be the last day of my club. There's no zero tolerance for that. But we have a lot of kids that come in, and we just build their confidence. And a big part of it, and I tell a lot of these kids, even in sports, I got kids right now going into bantam. They're a little timid. But you know what? Let's work on some cool combos, some cool pads. So we didn't have this growing up. So the only way back then that we could show that we were tough is you had to fight. Yep. So a lot of kids now, they come in and they're amazing at pads. Just post it. Post it on social media. Totally. You should see how much room is created some of these kids on the ice because people now see, oh shit, he's boxing.
He's got this in his back pocket.
Yeah, but in reality, there's no one fights anymore in hockey. Totally. So, it's still a game of intimidation. Sports, at any sport, is still a game of intimidation. But no, it's been great. Like we've got up to now, I would say almost 400 youth right now in our program. And just slowly plucking away. We just started, the world's changed a lot, obviously, with women now getting attacked and whatnot. We created a women's self-defense. I saw that one, I think we have every Sunday about 120 girls come through our program. We do it for free.
Awesome, man.
I see some guys out there that are doing some of these programs that, we're going to charge $10. For what? Honestly, for what? If you truly cared about women's self-defense, you would just do it and teach them. So, I'll cover any costs associated to my coaches. My coaches looked at me and, why would you pay me? This is something kind of cool. So
that's good, man. That's
it's
culture.
To empower. Yeah, we're just trying to empower women and to see, how some of these guys are now. These are men. If you're gonna go prey on a girl, man, you're a dog. You're an absolute dog. You're a piece of shit in my eyes. So the least we can do is at least teach some of these women, at least a combo, 3 or 4 punches that keep you off them.
Totally.
And go from there. So it's been pretty unique. It's been a pretty cool ride.
It's cool. It's cool to watch. Obviously, I've been watching from a distance. Social. That's the one thing about social media. It lets us stay connected to a bunch of characters. You know, unfortunately, we can't stay connected to everybody. Yeah. But online, you just get to see what guys are up to, which is obviously why I reached out to you. How do you decide when you're going to make a move, like business wise? You know, like, is it? I'm really, and this is me, you know, being selfish and asking a question, because it's really interesting to hear how, you know, successful guys like yourself, how they decide to do things.
For me, the biggest thing is it's the day you get up in the morning, and a couple key factors. So it's the day you get up in the morning and you really don't want to go to work anymore. And I'm not saying you don't want to go to work, but it's just like, I got to go to work.
It's work.
You know, and when it sucks, when I was at Ensign, I love going to work every day. I absolutely, there wasn't a day I ever got up and said, I got to go to work. I absolutely love working there. It was fun. That one was different because I was young and I figured it was a time to learn more. And that's when I started it. With Star Valley right now, I still get up in the morning. Yeah, COVID sucks. I hate going to work because it's only me and Ryan there because everyone's working from home right now. So, but pre-COVID, yeah, I loved it because I love the team. I love going in and seeing everybody and shooting the shit, and let's go for a coffee. And, you know, so I'm hoping we're going to get back to that by July, August. So that's the one thing. When it's no longer fun to get up in the morning, and obviously at the right time, like you need to make certain if you are to sell anything and not walk away from something you started, you want to achieve the highest multiple. So it's just comes down to market conditions. Yep. So, you know, you could be in the auto industry, the aircraft industry, oil and gas. It's just a matter of getting that right multiple on your EBITDA numbers, your earnings before debt. Yep. So to make it viable. So you did make a few dollars off all your hard work. But it's tough right now. You know, there isn't a sector out there, whether you're in natural resources or to auto, to maybe housing right now. Guys are making a killing. Yeah. But even that one, I shake my head at. You know, everyone's right now, you know, buying houses. But I just look at it and, yeah, I got realtor buddies making a fortune right now. But as a buyer, man, you're overpaying right now. Yeah, you're wild. In a market. Are you going to make that return back? So right now I'm looking at buying some houses with my cousins and just to buy and flip. And my realtor is awesome because I sit there with the seam and I said, how about this house? He's like, too much. I'm like, what do you too much? He's like, yeah, because you're going to pay $20,000-$30,000 over market price. That's going to be the cost of your reno, essentially, because you throw lipstick into it. Yep. That's your net profit. Yep. So, you know, I look at the real estate market right now and I just kind of shake my head. And
it's hot.
It's hot, but on the flip
dangerous.
At the flip end, are you going to make that money back?
Not right now.
You're not going to.
No.
You know, you look at cost of lumber right now. Like, you know, I built this massive outdoor rink inside of my house. I built it for the community. It's huge.
I saw it. Yeah.
Oh, it looks like it's like what was that football show? Lights.
Friday Night Lights.
Friday night. It looks like Friday Night Lights. Like when I got light towers up and 100 kids playing hockey. It's so cool. Awesome. And I got to do some repairs to it. And I look and I'm like, holy shit! It's $100 for a sheet of plywood. So I got friends right now literally just doing deals on houses and they're buying them. Like, you guys, you should wait a bit because just the cost of your lumber now, are you going to recoup that?
It's probably up 30, right? 30 points?
Man, no, you look at some of it's up almost 4 times from March of last year. So I think that same sheet, and I don't know why I know this. I know dumb facts on everything.
No, it's because you grew up in construction. Because you grew up in construction.
Like $29 a sheet for a 4x8 3/4 inch sheet of plywood. And it's now sitting at $95. I'm like, that is insane.
You know exactly why you remember those things.
You know, so there, you know, there needs to be a right time to make a business decision.
Yeah. But you're like gut? Like, are you a gut person? Are you a numbers person? Are you a situational person? Like the gym, for example, you saw an opportunity, or like, where does it?
Well, like I said, the gym I haven't made any money off of. The gym is more of a culture that I create.
But like you decide to get involved for a reason, and that's where
I got involved. Okay, there can be money in boxing. Like, you know, I looked at the gym. There can be money in it. And kind of break it down for someone that owns a boxing club. Where you make your money is if you do everything yourself. Yep. Meaning, I get up in the morning, I clean the washrooms, I mop, I teach all the classes, I do all the privates, I do everything. Yep. But now I'm married to my work, and I can't enjoy my wife and my kids and all that stuff. Yep. You know, where I love is the culture I created. My fighters, which is my youth, which a lot of them go to university or college, and SATE or whatever. They're getting into careers they want to do down the road. But I created a culture for my youth for somewhere to hang out.
Cool.
And I get a ton of calls. I still do the odd private for friends of mine, but I don't charge them. I enjoy doing it.
Yep.
I love doing it. It gives me time to, Humper said, hey, I want to teach me. Yeah, shit, let's hold pads.
Yep.
But I give it to my youth, and I created a culture. I created somewhere for my kids to hang out. That's the biggest part now. So a lot of us are so consumed with work, that we don't have time for a lot of our, not everyone has kids, but, a lot of time to spend with our family. Well, right now, you know what? When I get home from work at 4:30 or whatever it is, and I go to my 2 daughters and my son, hey, you guys want to go to the gym? Yeah, let's go.
Awesome.
My wife's there, and it gives me that ability. That's what we're into. We're just we're into sports. We love sports, so it gives us the ability to go to the gym. We get there at 5:00 at night. They hang out with all the fighters. We all work out together. By 8:30, come home. Everyone has a shower, goes to bed.
Cool, man.
So it gave us, that's our thing. Where some people like to go camping or whatever. Ours is going to the gym together as a family. So it's a big part of my life. The gym is huge. I'm 44 years old, and if I didn't have that gym, with the amount of things that I got going on in life, because I sit on other boards. I'm president of the Calgary Lebanese Association. That takes a lot of time, but for me, the gym is my avenue. It's that one time I can sit there, put my phone on the side, and say, you know what, I'm not answering it for an hour.
Focus.
So and people need to take more time for themselves. I don't know about what you do for yourself, whether it's meditation, sitting on your deck, going for a drive.
Ride my bike, buddy.
Yeah, so ride your bike. Everyone's got their thing. Mine is literally sitting in the gym.
It's cool, man.
I have a trainer, Sarah Berdusco, and her family, it's actually ironic, her family trained me from 97 to 02 in Halifax. I came out here, her brother CJ Halat, he owns 101 Academy. He was my trainer when I got out here, and then she's trained me the last 5 or 6 years, and it's been, and again, it comes back to loyalty and friendship and all that, and I've stuck with this family since 1996, and
so crazy, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. To build bonds with people and just to be loyal to my friends and whatnot.
It's rare, man. It's rare.
It is, and it's the ability to overcome. We fought each other, but didn't hold a grudge. Right back to when I said, I think that was the weekend Caleb Toth knocked me out. He's a prick, because I remember in the dressing room, and I'm a fighter, he's a fighter, and I had no idea he was a lefty. I had no clue he was a lefty. And then he's in the warm up, and Caleb, you want to fight? We're both rookies or second year or whatever we are. And yeah, let's do it. Okay, we line up, we square up. Puck hadn't even dropped yet. We ready? So we drop our gloves, thinking we're going to square up, fix our hair, fucking make it look good. We're going to show these rookies what it's like. Pop a left, right off my chin. Fucking eyes roll back. And he felt so bad because when I fell back, he grabbed me.
So you didn't
He grabbed me because I was falling backwards, and all he hears, Halat. I open up, I looked at him like, you're an asshole. You're a fucking asshole. Why'd you hit me like that? And I think I even said, when do you throw lefts? When did you learn to throw a left? Because back then we were all rights at the time.
Totally.
I didn't expect it. I think his dad even gave him shit for it.
Oh, yeah.
I think his dad was a big man. He
crossed the line.
Are you guys idiots? So, but it was good. And and fast forward all these years, he went on to play for the Calgary Roughnecks. And I still talk to him on a daily basis.
It's so cool, man.
And I think he's living out in BC right now, doing his thing, selling steel or something. But
it's awesome.
But no,
it's so cool. It's all connected, dude. I think you and I could talk for hours and hours. We should probably put a bow on this sucker.
Yeah, no, man, this has been awesome. I appreciate catching up and talking about old things.
Yeah, man. And so the way I like to, the show's called the Calgary Sessions. The way I like to the only question I really have planned all the time is, I ask my guests, when I say Calgary, what does it mean to you? And that's the way we end the show. And I'll be really curious to hear how you answer this one.
Long-term loyalty to my friend, just loyalty to my friends. Just, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I hope my friends do the same. And just being loyal to my buddies, all my bros growing up. So I'll always be there for them. So be loyalty. So
that's cool, man. It's unique, man. Growing up, born and raised in Calgary, the two of us, we get access to a bunch of really cool characters in the city, and that's why I really love this show, because I get to catch up with dudes like you. So thanks for making the time.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's a pleasure catching up.
We'll talk soon. Later, man.